Another day, another video from Medicosis Perfectionalis. So let's talk about ALT, AST, ALP, GGT, amylase, and lipase because these topics confuse lots of students. So let's get started. So this video is kind of unique because I will briefly explain these topics, then I'll ask you 8 questions. If you can answer these 8 questions correctly, you are way ahead of the game. So ALT and AST, these are liver enzymes or liver transaminases. ALT stands for alanine transaminase or alanine aminotransferase. AST stands for aspartate transferase or aspartate aminotransferase. ALT is the same as SGPT. AST is the same as SGOT. Unless you are living under the rock, we are no longer using these old terms. So if you have liver damage, it's predicted that ALT and AST will be high. Next, if you have a biliary system problem, it's expected that ALP and GGT will be high. ALP, of course, is alkaline phosphatase. GGT is gamma glutamyl transferase. If you have a problem with your pancreas, both amylase and lipase are expected to be high. And I've told you before that amylase is more sensitive, lipase is more specific. Why isn't amylase specific? Because there is also a salivary amylase. Amylase is not specific for the pancreas. But lipase, boy, it's very specific. ALT is predominantly produced from the liver, while AST can be present in many tissues including liver, skeletal muscles, heart, kidneys, brain, even your red blood cells. So, if you have a liver problem, both of them will be elevated. If you have only high AST but ALT is normal, think something other than the liver. Same thing here. Alkaline phosphatase is present in many tissues, including hepatobiliary, bone, placenta, kidney, gastrointestinal tract. GGT is predominantly in the hepatobiliary system. If you have a problem with the bile ducts, both ALP and GGT will be high. If you have normal GGT but high ALP, think something other than the biliary system, such as maybe bone problem. Again, ALT is more specific for liver disease than AST. If AST is high while ALT is normal, think extrahepatic, maybe muscle. So if you suspect a muscle problem, please measure the creatinine kinase or creatinine phosphokinase, which is kind of the same stuff. In liver disease, ALT and AST will be high. Most of the time, ALT is higher than AST, with a major exception, which is alcoholic liver disease, where AST is higher than ALT. High ALP and normal GGT, think extrahepatic, such as the bone, specifically increased osteoblastic activity. If you see sudden increase in alkaline phosphatase and gamma glutamyl transferase, think hepatocellular carcinoma. Also, don't forget alcohol can raise the gamma glutamyl transferase. Now let's have some fun. So, question. You have a patient with jaundice, anemia, increased unconjugated bilirubin only. Everything else is okay, including the conjugated bilirubin, the alkaline phosphatase, the GGT, etc. What's the diagnosis? Please pause the video. The diagnosis is, this is a hemolytic jaundice. So if we have our nice liver here, and here is our bile duct and biliary system, where is the problem? The problem is pre-hepatic, before entering the liver. There is no problem in the liver, there is no problem in the biliary system, and of course there is no problem in the pancreas. Okay, let's go to the second question. You have a patient with jaundice, increased unconjugated bilirubin and conjugated bilirubin, very high transaminases, alkaline phosphatase is normal or slightly elevated. What's the diagnosis? Are you ready? This is hepatocellular jaundice. The problem is in the liver. So if we have your nice liver here, here is your biliary system, the problem is in the liver itself. Third question, patient with jaundice, increased unconjugated bilirubin and conjugated bilirubin, but the conjugated bilirubin is higher than the unconjugated bilirubin. Both AST and ALT are high. ALP is off the charts, very high. GGT, same thing, very high. What's the diagnosis, please? It's an obstructive jaundice. So if we have your nice liver right here and your biliary system here, where's the problem? Biliary system obstruction in the biliary system called obstructive jaundice. So AST and ALT are mildly elevated, but ALP and GGT are very high. Let's go to question number 4. A patient with epigastric pain radiating to the back, fever, increased amylase and lipase. This is easy. And the answer is, this is pancreatitis. Question number 5. Patient with fever, right upper quadrant pain, jaundice, dark urine, increased ALT and AST. They range between 400 and 4,000 international units. ALP is kind of mildly elevated. And by the way, ALT is higher than AST. What's the diagnosis? And the answer is, this is hepatitis. Number 6. Fever, right upper quadrant pain, jaundice, dark urine, very high transaminases. They are even higher than 10,000 international units. Wow. ALP is normal to mildly elevated, and by the way, ALT is higher than AST. What's the diagnosis? This is acetaminophen toxicity, greater than 10,000 units. Doesn't have to be higher than 10,000 units. I'm just giving you an example to let you know that the ALT and AST will be extremely high. Way higher than viral hepatitis. Next, fever, right upper quadrant pain, jaundice, dark urine. ALT and AST are high, but they are less than 400 international units. ALP is normal to mildly elevated. GGT is high. By the way, AST is higher than ALT. What's the diagnosis? Yep, this is the exception. Alcoholic fatty liver or alcoholic steatohepatitis. And here's the last question. Fever, right upper quadrant pain, leukocytosis, increased bilirubin, increased alkaline phosphatase, high amylase and lipase. What's the diagnosis? This is biliary pancreatitis. Wow. Please let me know in the comment section how many questions did you get correctly without cheating. And don't forget to check my playlist on biochemistry and genetics, as well as my playlist on lab. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Please like me on Facebook, follow me on SoundCloud, and consider supporting the channel on Patreon. It takes a lot of time to prepare these lectures. If you support me on Patreon, you get lots of stuff, lots of notes, audio stuff, and other thing. Plus, you get early access to all of my videos, and I'll see you next time. Be safe, stay happy, and study hard.